Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel. And it's Saturday, and it's 5 o'clock in the evening, which means it must be time for Star Trek. And I'm joined by my wonderful friends, the One Ton Hammer,
Hello.
Irate Prostate,
Hi.
and Skeptalk.
Hey, everybody.
And today we are starting our discussion of villains of Star Trek. And what we've decided to do, instead of going series by series, is kind of go with villains that really spoke to us, and kind of discuss amongst ourselves, how their actions, what their actions caused the main characters of the show to do, and the things that they have brought out in the characters and what makes them a villain. And I think Irate and I actually hit on something really interesting last night, and we might find this a recurring theme of the most villainous villains in Trek are the ones that actually think and believe to their core that they are right and that they are actually doing good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we might actually see this as a recurring thing in our discussion on villainy. But today we're gonna start with the Chain of Command episode, because Irate wanted to talk about David Warner's character, who his name is Gul Madred, which I did not know.
Yeah.
Until last night. Thank you to Roasted Opinions. And we're also going to talk about Captain Edward Jellico, the man who takes over the captaining of the Enterprise while Picard is in the hands of David Warner, shall we say. They're
Parts
both,
played by
what's his name?
Rodney Cox.
Rodney Cox, that's right.
Ronnie Cox, yes.
And he does a really good job of being a hated asshole. He just, ugh.
He's played some iconic bad guys. Yeah. He's good.
he was in Total Recall, but he was also in RoboCop.
Mm-hmm. Both for Hogan films. Yeah.
Yeah, Total Recall was go Hagen, you got what you want. Give those people air. That was the whole Joe Hagen he played. I can't remember the name of the part he played in RoboCop though.
Come on, Donga, give these people dead air.
There it is.
I didn't know that he was in RoboCop.
Yeah, he's in the boardroom and he says, and they bring in Ed 209 and it blows the guy away.
That's his project.
Ronnie Cox is the CEO.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And he's the one that gets fired at the end. His name is Dick Jones, is what they call him.
Right, Dick Jones. That was his name.
He goes, "You're fired, Dick."
Yeah.
That's great.
Thank you.
Yeah, coming.
Hi, Logan. Did you escape
Cop
from
may be one of
Daddy?
the greatest movies ever made.
Okay, go back to Daddy. Thank you. Go back to Daddy.
Hey.
Go back to Daddy and close the door.
He already went back to Daddy, but left the door open.
Yeah, hold on.
Mm.
Okay. Pincalo's cleaning our bedroom, and that I think Logan's helping.
Alrighty.
Put it to work.
So, to quickly summarize Chain of Command, which we don't have to do very much of because it's a freaking iconic episode. For those of you who are going, Chain of Command, there are 4 lights, is all I need to say, that will remind you of what episode this is.
Yep.
This is
There
the
are
episode...
4 lights, is all I need.
Where did that come from?
That was weird. That was me.
Oh. Anyway,
That's right. I thought I had it muted.
Two of us have boomered things now.
And what is that a shout out to?
That is a shout out to 1984's iconic Room 102 scene. It's 102, right? That is Room 102.
It's
Never saw the movie. Don't even have it.
It's a book too.
Oh. Yeah, don't read the book either.
The book's iconic, man.
But yeah, the scene that this is referencing is Winston, the main character of 1984, is being asked how many lights he sees. In this case, it's 5. I think. I haven't read the book in 12 years. But there aren't 5 lights. Or there are 5 lights, and he's being told that he sees a different number. And he's like, but no. Right? It's the iconic, being retrained to think what you're being told to think.
What do you do if you're the guy who's being tortured and the guy says, no, there's 4 lights? And you just say, okay, 4 lights.
You're talking about Room 101, right?
Room 101, that's right. Not Room 102.
Yeah.
I always screw that up.
There's 6 lights in 102.
But yeah, this episode, it's a 2-parter. Picard is being sent on a secret mission to find biogenic weapons on the planet called Sultrus 3. He's been sent with Beverly and Worf. And Captain Edward Jellico has been ordered to take command while he's gone. And don't nobody like that. Because, yeah, Jellico... The juxtaposition or the playback between David Warner's just evil inquisitorial torture method and Edward Jellico's just heavy-handed
managerial style.
Yeah, managerial style and willingness to just sacrifice other members of Starfleet so that he doesn't look bad.
Oh yeah, that's I probably tired of me making analogies to naval officers but it's there. I'm sorry, it's just there. And,
go for it, dude.
In change of commands, when Captain comes on board, there's a way to do it and there's a way not to do it. And Jellico pretty well covered the waterfront on how not to relieve a command. You don't come on board and start making wholesale changes and start.
Especially when it's a temporary command.
Well, yeah, you wouldn't do any of the things that he did. I mean, it was to anybody who's familiar with that type of situation. Actually, it was so over the top that that was a negative for me. It was unbelievable. It made it. For people who aren't familiar with that, I can totally, it's. Yeah, I can see how you would suspend disbelief, but
yeah,
anybody who lived that life, day to day, you just kind of go, no, that there is no naval officer in the world who ever would do that, because by the time you get to the point where you take command, all the guys who would do that have been weeded out, and I mean all of them, 100% of them have been weeded out.
What did you think about the scene between Picard and Jellico just before Picard leaves, when Picard is even like, because Riker and LaForge have gone to Picard because Jellico wants a 4-shift rotation instead of a 3-shift watch rotation. Which
was an insane thing to come on board and say, we're standing 3 duty sections, which means that you've divided the crew into 3 sections, and so
exactly.
You're standing 1 and 3. So standing 1 in 4 basically dilutes the crew, and what happens is you start standing double shifts.
Yeah,
you start standing 2 watches per rotation, and which is really obnoxious if you dilute it down to a 4-shift rotation, and it becomes real hard to make the watch bill. People forget when they're standing watches. There's no reason to do what he did.
Yeah.
and a good ops officer would say, "Sir, that's a really boneheaded move. Why are
Well,
you?"
and Riker even tried,
Yeah,
right? Like, because Riker is usually in charge of the duty roster.
Riker was saying all the right right things. He made all the right
and
objections.
Jellico's just like, make it happen.
Make it happen.
Like, "Rah," and,
Yeah.
and then he goes down to engineering and basically shits all over Geordi.
Yeah.
And is like, this is crap. What you're doing is crap, and all of your people are crap, and you need to fix this up right now.
If I'd been Riker, I would have said, "Sir, we're having a problem in one of the external airlocks. We really need to look at it by yourself."
Well, I'm a little confused here because what you're saying is very serious, but what you're ending up with is not serious at all. If I was Captain Jellico, and granted, that guy wouldn't exist in our modern day army, but we're not talking about our Navy, our military today. We're talking about Star Trek
space,
X number of hundreds of years from now, and those guys might actually be in service back there. They may not have the advantage of what we know today for our leadership.
Well, you would
but
hope
if came on board,
you would hope that managerial science would be even more advanced.
You would hope so.
But
we're in fantasy. But
yeah,
if you get somebody like Jellico who decides he's going to do this, and you're in Starfleet, and your captain gives you an order, what do?
You follow it.
You do it.
You make it. You make it happen. And Geordi I like the way Geordi did it. He says, "Well, okay, by God, I'm gonna make it happen. It's insane. I hate it, but I'm gonna make it happen." I loved his attitude.
Because
of course, I love Geordi, but
because Geordi's that guy. Like Geordi,
yeah, he's the guy in Star Trek who Captain Picard goes to him and says, "I want you to be able to transport through this weird field that no one's ever been able to transport through." And Geordi says, "We can do it. It'll take 10 years, but we can do it."
Right. Picard goes,
Geordi to a T right there.
And Picard goes, "I need it done in 2 hours."
Yeah.
And then he goes, "Okay.
Okay, I'll get back to you."
Or the booby trap episode. Geordi is just but
it pissed me off that Jellico treated Geordi badly. Well, then you've got work to do. Fuck you, Jellico. You have never accomplished anything as near what Geordi has done in his short little career. I know what you are. You're a puffed up pimple of a guy who's pushed people around, lots of people better than you, doing their job. You sat around and took credit for you. You're a John Kerry asshole manager who sits and takes other people's credit and gets the promotion. And
did you just say John Kerry?
He did.
Yeah.
So these guys actually do exist right now.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Guys like Kerry, make sure that they are in the right place at the right time with the right people taking pictures of them, and they take credit for other people's stuff, and they move on. I'm not saying that Kerry was that bad. Kerry probably was a little bit more realistic.
And can I just say about Jellico, there is nothing more dangerous than an officer who will not listen to his advisors.
Oh yeah, no kidding.
And
that's a great thing about Picard. He gets in a position, he turns around there and says, I'm happy to take suggestions."
Well, and that's the thing.
He says that word for word. He says,
"Yep,
I'm open to suggestions."
I'm open.
That's exactly what the captain does.
Yep. I'm open to suggestions.
Yes.
But I mean, and we see this with Jellico and Deanna. The first thing he does is shit on her for what she's wearing, and then when we start talking to is it Gully-Vec or Gul-Macet that Jellico's dealing with?
It's Gully-Vec.
Gully-Vec, yeah.
Vec is the one going after Picard. Vec is the young buck who's trying to fight us in space.
Right. And so Gully-Vec has met with the Enterprise to have these talks with Jellico. And Jellico is so arrogant. And so he does your classic you know, you read about this in a lot of police novels where a you know a your main detective character is trying to get cooperation from, you know, a CEO of some company to investigate, and they're kept waiting, right? They're it's a power play
It's a game.
crap. Yeah. And Jellico is just, he thinks this is a game. And Deanna's trying to tell him, like, you need to stop. Like, this is not how you deal with Cardassians.
There is
And
the psychology. He just is
Yeah.
implementing it incorrectly.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's like, and she even says, I know what you're trying to do. Right? I see what you're trying to do. It doesn't work with Cardassians. You
It
can't.
did kind of work though.
Well, it did. It did.
It did. What he wanted to project was he was crazy, and you didn't know what to expect from him. He was just totally out of his
Yeah.
mind. And from the Cardassian perspective, they expect Starfleet to act a certain way, to hold to Starfleet values, and this guy's not going to do that. So they don't know what to do with him, which is where he wants them at. He wants them in a position where, like, they're like, oh, what do we do?
Yeah.
That makes him the dominant alpha. So it's a win, but Deanna says he doesn't really know what he's doing.
Yeah.
She says that in the show. She says, you know,
He's questioning himself.
yeah, well, number one says, oh, well, at least he knows what he's doing. He says, no, he really doesn't.
No, he doesn't. Right.
Yeah,
sure
he's all external bluster,
Yes.
and inside he's going, "Oh dear Jesus, I hope this works."
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's nothing more dangerous than somebody like that in charge of.
So it's willing to gamble with human lives
The interesting
to be right.
thing is, you do run into those guys in the service, officers like that. But they tend to get weeded out at the
I can tell you.
level, at about the lieutenant level, about the second or third officer rank. That's where they start getting a couple of bad fitness reports. They don't get promoted and they exit the service.
People who are truly unstable, or people who are looking for a fight.
Both. And there are people who are truly crazy time, truly.
Jellico's looking for a fight. He's looking for a fight. And that's why he wants to be armed to the teeth. He says it himself. I want to be armed to the teeth, because he's looking to fight, but he wants to win that fight.
Do we have a backstory on Jellico where we know something about him and the Cardassians? I looked and I didn't see anything.
I had Pincalo look for me too, and
For one shot.
couldn't find anything.
Nope, he's just running for this show, and you never hear from him again.
Okay.
He's not like Captain Maxwell, who has a
One of the
story.
notes did say this was originally pitched as one show, one episode.
Really?
Yeah, and it was. Where does it say that?
Probably would have worked better as one show, because there's a lot of extra room in the show that they didn't have to put in. You know how I am about two
I think
parts.
it was Patrick Stewart. Wanted to kind of showcase. He said that
He wanted to show his chops off.
pretty much. I think. Thing about that, it was like 2 1-act play or 3-act, small production plays. Yeah, especially the Four Lights part.
I think they could have cut the whole thing about training. I think they could have cut all of that out. There was really no need to. Oh, you have to rebound down this wall, then you have to fire, your phasers to create this tunnel, and that was all extraneous stuff
And
that
them
could have
getting
taken
all
out.
upset with each other, and
Yeah, that I agree with you, Hammer. I looked at that and I thought, why are they doing this SEAL team thing? Why are they doing the special forces?
It's boring too. It was just boring.
Yeah, I was bored. That's exactly the way I felt.
it threw me way back when I first saw this episode, and I wasn't watching it with anybody. It went to commercial break, and then all of a sudden there was all this action going on, and I'm like, wait, have they left already? What happened? And then I'm like, oh, they're on the holodeck. Oh, okay. Okay. Right? It was very jarring. And it still throws me when I'm watching it on Netflix. It's still like, even though I'm used to it, I'm just like, oh, right, the holodeck scene. It's very
They need to
Abrupt.
have a little holodeck queue for you.
yeah.
That would be helpful. I can see where that could be a little bit. You could miss a cue and you just don't realize that.
Hey, imagine watching cause and effect when you can't see.
Oh yeah, no shit.
You're
No
like,
kidding.
seriously, the first time that I saw that, I'm like, did the network station like fuck up and start playing it again?
But whether you could see or not didn't make any difference because I felt exactly the same way, and I can see.
Yeah, exactly.
What the hell's going on? Didn't I just watch this? Did I hit rewind? I must hit rewind.
Yeah. Was there anything else we wanted to mention about Jellico before we moved on to the awesomeness that is David Warner?
I just wanted to kind of emote a little bit that Jellico was not for me a good guy or a bad guy. And the problem I have with bad guys, and the reason why I've been so tentative about this whole subject, is I see bad guys simply as plot devices. I don't really see, even for Gul Madred, Gul Madred, all these guys, all these Cardacians, even Klingons who are, I never get a real sense of who they are, because they're usually in for an episode and gone again. Yeah. And that's why I had Shran as my number 2, because at least Shran was in like 5 or 6 episodes. But Rodney Cox comes in is a plot device, and he's gone. We never hear from him ever again.
Yeah.
And they could have easily fit him into, Captain's log on meeting up with the USS Venture, Ronnie Cox's, command. They could just mention it. They show the actor. They could have just said, here we are at this place, and we're meeting Jellico and this person and that person. And they could have mentioned the name again. They never do. It's just like in for one show and back out again. That's why I can't really grasp any good villains, because the only people I can really grasp onto are people who have been in more than one episode. So it's got to be Shran, it's got to be Q, it's got to be these people. And they're not all bad guys. They're all kind of gray.
I don't know. Wei Yun's pretty bad.
Wei Yun. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Wei Yun.
The founder's lackey.
Yeah. He's pretty freaking evil.
Q.
Would you call Q a villain, though?
Yeah, that was my problem. It's Shran.
Or would he be a trickster?
He's gray. He's
sort of
force of nature, right?
Yeah, he's sort of a force of nature. Yeah.
See, Piccolo always... I think we should do a whole thing about Q.
Yeah, Q is worth the show. Q is worth the show.
And Piccolo wants to join us for Q, because he is a huge... Q is his favorite.
Q is awesome. We have to do a Borg show. We have to do a Q show.
Yeah.
Q is the thing about Q being a force of nature is, he's a bad guy, but he's also beloved.
Yeah.
By the people who watch the show. So it's 6 and 1/2 does the other. The whole thing, if you can't take a bloody nose, you shouldn't be out here, Picard. 16 people died. You forget about that? That 16 people died because of Q.
Yeah.
Right. So
and all he was like was, well, I told you.
Yeah.
Like, he was like...
Take broken eggs and make an omelet, asshole.
Yeah.
So Q is for me probably the definition of gray, because he's in his heart he seems to like Picard and wants to see them succeed, but then he has no problems killing humans as he sees fit.
He finds them interesting. He likes to play with them.
Playthings, exactly. They're playthings like pets. You're right. Yeah. Anyway, let's get off of Q, because we're going to donate a whole show to him. We don't want to get too much into it tonight.
Down the drain.
So, I think the last thing I wanted to mention about Jellico before we moved on was his I guess the one redeeming thing about him was he was finally willing, after he screwed everything up royally, by listening to Geordi for once.
What's that noise?
Oh, Piccolo's running the vacuum on the linoleum floor. Sorry.
Thought you guys were rearranging your furniture or something.
No, we have a hardwood floor all the way through our house. So we have a shark,
lovely.
Upright vacuum.
Uh-huh.
So he's running that on the hardwood linoleum floor. But we have, so Jordy, because he wants to deploy these mines along the Cardacian ship as like a scare tactic, right? He basically he's gonna threaten them. I'll blow up your ship unless you do what I tell you to. And he asks Jordy, can you go do it? Can you go deploy the mines? And Jordy's like, well, yeah, but you really want Riker. And Jellico's like,
his heart drop when you're like, oh no.
Yeah. I just had a big fight with that guy.
Shit, I shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah. And the scene between those two is great.
When he goes to Riker,
because Jellico's like, I don't like you. I think you're, an upstart and blah blah blah. And Riker's like, yeah, well, permission to speak freely, sir.
And I don't like you either.
I don't like you either. I think you're arrogant. I think you're full of yourself, and I think you have no idea what you're doing. But I'll do it. But if you want me to do this, just ask me.
Really good delivery with Jonathan Frakes on that. It was very, very believable.
Yeah.
Yep. I bought it completely.
Ask me. I love that. Then ask me. Right? You know? Will you please do this?
You could just hear the rubber band snap inside Jellico's mind.
What was the term? You're so wound up, there's no joy in anything? Is that the phrase he uses?
Yep. You've taken the joy out of everything. There's no joy to anything anymore.
Yeah, that was really well delivered on both sides. Ronnie Cox did a great job.
And Riker hit the crux of the matter and he described the feeling of the Enterprise crew in that statement. Because with Picard, there is joy in their work.
Yeah.
They are happy to be working on shift. They are happy that they are aboard the Enterprise. They are happy they are a part of that crew. Yeah. And Jellico came aboard, and his whole command style had everyone snapping at each other and stressed out and just they were hating what they were doing. And it really shows the difference of what a command style can.
Yeah.
It really, and when you're watching as a viewer, you can feel the change on the ship.
Absolutely. One last thing about the scene with Riker when he says "You're welcome." The look on Jellico's face.
He stops too, right? He's walking away and he actually stops.
Yeah, because he doesn't even thank him, right? He just turns and walks out, and Riker's like, "You're welcome."
You're welcome. It's like a big fuck you.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah. Anyway, I just thought that was noteworthy.
Yeah, he uses the words. He uses the words "you're welcome" as a way to say "fuck you."
Fuck you.
Just like the way there's another episode where Picard's going toe to toe with Nechev. I think it's Descent, where he's talking about the Borg they found, and she's giving him shit about Hugh.
Yes,
and then yes, sir. Fuck you, you bitch.
Yes, that's exactly what he's saying. I wonder if she picked up on it.
Yeah. I've asked Pink Hollow, I'm like, is that a thing? He goes, maybe.
Yeah, Linda, I'm talking about you. In case you're listening. I had a boss like that, man. I called her, she was a sawed-off blonde, is what I referred to her as. Yeah. And she's where I learned the phrase "make it happen."
Yeah. You used "yes, ma'am" as a go fuck yourself.
Yep.
Yeah, probably.
He actually calls her "sir," doesn't he? Isn't it the words that he actually uses? He says, "yes."
Yes, because it's naval.
Yeah.
I think Janeway's the only female that says, "I don't like sir. You can call me captain
Or ma'am if it's
or
really
ma'am if it's
dire or something
really
like that.
dire." Yeah. So David Warner, he is one of my favorite. Even though he's only in this show for one thing as the Cardassian, he just made every scene he was in, and him and Patrick Stewart playing off of each other
Magic.
was magical. And it wasn't just the actors, it was the writing, because you had somebody in Picard who has all these principles and this strong belief in right and wrong in his way, and then you have David Warner who thinks that he is just as right and knows his rights and wrongs, and to him he's just doing his job, and Picard is just a subspecies, and humans are just naturally inferior, and that's just how that is. And it's chilling, like the way that he was able to play that kind of that for any of the lefty liberals. That is what real racism is, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how the Cardassians can continue to hold that perspective with the number of times they get their ass beat by the Federation.
We're superior. Oh, got our asses kicked again.
Yeah, at
We're
some point you
superior.
got to say, well, maybe we're not so superior.
And you keep getting, and you get these flashes of that when Picard tries to debate him, right? You know, we're superior. Oh, really? You've been at war for how long? Like, look at you guys. You guys used to have amazing culture, and now you're just, warlike. Like you, and that did not sit well with David Warner's character. The one scene that really stuck out with me was when his daughter came to visit him at work. And Picard says, I can't believe you let her come here, right? And see what you do. And he's like, why? She knows what I do, this is, and she asks her father straight up, do humans have children? And he says, yes, but they don't love their children as we do, as we love our children. And when you watch that, you think to yourself, I wonder how many of the many cultures on Earth now tell that to their kids about other cultures.
See, he can make that point, though, because he can say to his daughter, see, we don't bring our children on our warships where they could die.
Yeah, and the Ferengi make that point, too.
The Enterprise has children on it because they don't care about their kids if they get killed in combat. See, he can make that point because he doesn't understand the culture. This is really what you're talking about here is two different cultures. They see things differently.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got like a Stalinist vibe.
Well, that's what I'm when I watch this, I often wonder, did the Nazis tell their kids that the Jews didn't love their kids?
Probably.
Do Middle Easterners tell their children that we don't love our children?
Yeah, it's dehumanization. It's our past is full of it.
Yeah. And you hear that now. You hear some races tell, white people don't love their children. White people are racist, uniformly racist. White privilege exists to the detriment of all of the races. White people are bad. They do bad things. They're incapable of doing good things. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. It's all over the place.
Yeah, Sting wrote a song when he went solo called "The Russians Love Their Children Too." It's a great song. but it kind of points out that the human element, is more of a political mindsets that are.
No, it's all political. Russia is communist and we hate them. China is communist. We love them.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
More.
Yeah.
No, even now there are Democrats saying that, oh, well, we brought this on ourselves.
Yeah.
No, China did this to us. Jesus.
China asshole.
We're a little bit off topic.
Chinese asshole.
I'm sorry.
But if we look at the brain, like all the different torture techniques that are used here, we've got the
Some really innovative stuff too.
oh god, it's we've got the what is it, an implanted thing that David Warner has a remote for.
Yeah, that,
And he
I
can
didn't
amp
understand
up.
that part. Did he go after his heart?
No, it was a nervous system thing, I believe.
Oh, okay. So I was like to myself, he doesn't have a heart.
No,
what are you doing?
I think it was a pain inducer.
Oh, okay. So in the spine or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh.
And there's this one part I love where Picard is smashing. He gets the remote. He smashes it, and David Warner's like,
I've got plenty more.
I got plenty more, and he goes, but it still felt good.
Yeah.
And it's weird. Like they play the Stockholm syndrome angle almost, or the trauma bonding.
Yeah. Because he offers them a deal at the end.
Yeah, he offers them a meal. They talk like they almost speak in friendly term. Like it's the mind games that they have David Warner's character play. The writing.
Let's take a break and have something to eat just for a second here before we get back to work.
Yeah. Here, would you like some water?
Mind. Yeah.
Would you like some water? You must be thirsty.
Yeah, exactly. This torture sure builds up a powerful thirst. Jeez.
And I love at when he slips and tells him the story of when he was little, and how he had to have his arm broken to steal the eggs, and Picard jumps on it.
Yeah,
and
it looks like it's a fucking squid like swimming around inside the egg. It's gross.
But the writing in that, Picard, even in that extremity of torture, was still cognizant enough to jump on that and go, now I'll only see you as a little boy, fighting for food, pitiable, starving.
And that's the last thing he wants to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like every time I watch that episode, I just get chills at that part. Cause it's just like the force of wills between those two is.
That's some pretty fine acting on Patrick Stewart's part too, by the way.
Oh yeah.
That's just
and he just starts singing. He just starts singing an old French song. Just fine, crank that shit up. I'm just gonna sing, bitch. It's the fact David Warner's character did his job though, because Picard gets back onto the ship, he relieves Jellico, and he just turns to Riker and goes, "Bridge is yours," and just goes into his room, and Deanna follows him.
Yeah.
Because she knows.
Time for a debrief.
And he goes, at the end, I thought I could see 4 lights. I really
follows
did.
him like a puppy dog, doesn't she?
Yeah, and it was 5 lights that were lit at that last time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just and you often wonder, how many times does this actually happen today? Like, the human brain can be made to think and see a lot of things under duress. And I think that's why we keep seeing this theme in the Federation of the anti-torture stuff, because it doesn't give you accurate information. They'll just say whatever yeah, sure. I killed a whole bunch of people. Please stop hurting me. Here are some secrets that I've just made up. Can the pain stop now?
Can the pain stop now? Yes.
Well, I mean, painful coercion techniques aren't effective in extracting actual actionable intel, right?
They'll just tell you anything to stop the pain. I mean,
right.
sometimes they're effective, but as often as not, you'll get just anything to stop the pain. They're not reliably good. You're right.
Yeah.
Right. The implications can sometimes provide an accurate response.
It's just so darn satisfying, though, to torture somebody you don't like. I mean, let's just be honest about it.
Not wrong.
Minecraft.
In Minecraft, yes.
If you had Osama bin Laden there, wouldn't it?
I was thinking Adam Schiff, but
or Adam Schiff, or
okay, I disavow.
Just saying.
I said in Minecraft, man.
In Minecraft, just in Minecraft.
In Minecraft.
Susan and I had nothing to do with any of this.
But does anyone else notice that David Warner's character is not as important as he lets Picard think he is?
Yeah.
Because at the end, when Picard is freed, he gets in shit. Because Picard was supposed to be ready to go. He was supposed to have been given clothes. He was supposed to be cleaned up. And here he is, having fun torturing him some more, and
I'm in trouble now.
Lying to him.
He hadn't broken him.
Yeah.
He was there at his will at that point, right?
I told you to get this.
Yeah. I told you to get him cleaned up,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then Picard's fuck you to him was, there are four lights.
Yeah.
Everybody loves that part of the show, and that's the part that I hate the most.
Really?
I am so backward to everybody else. I swear to God, every point we make in this entire series that we're doing for Star Trek, I'm always the guy who's fucking opposite everyone else.
Yeah, it makes it interesting.
Maybe you like to be opposite of everything.
Maybe. I just think that the writers had a chance to do something really good there, and they waffled it a little bit. Because
what would you have put?
Yeah, I was going to say, mine would have had him run up to Gul Madred, slam both hands on the top of the table, put his face an inch away from Madred, and just growl at him. There are 4 lights. And then pause.
Not this whole...
And then spin on his heel and walk out.
Not this whole wailing...
No, I didn't like that. It didn't seem very Picard.
No.
That
you know what? I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that.
I disagree. I think that at that point he was so stretched. He's not Superman, man.
Yeah.
Just like he was like almost giddy, with emotion. He had all this mix of emotion in him, and it comes out like that. Like, God damn it.
Yeah.
I don't know. This guy laughed when he got stabbed through the back by a Nausicaan. So
yeah. He's kind of Superman. Kind of. But that if I was writing it, of course, everyone has their take on how they would write it, because obviously we're all much better writers than the people who actually wrote the show.
Oh, I can't. Yeah, I'm a horrible writer. I just I draw things. I can draw, but that's about it.
That's something I think they got right with Janeway. She does a lot of growling. I kind of like that about her.
I agree. Especially when she first meets the Vidians and she meets those two.
She's got a good growl on her.
Yes, she does.
Oh, she does.
Kate Mulgrew? Yes, she does.
Yeah, good growl. Yeah.
She getting your drill. She's like 5 feet tall, man.
Especially when she's going head to head with Seven, and she's like, "You must comply."
Yeah. Well delivered. Well delivered.
Like, oh shit. Okay.
I guess when your stature is fairly slight like that, you have to have that kind of presence.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Riker would ever need that. He'd just walk up to somebody and they'd be like, "Holy shit, this guy's tall," and he's immediately imposing. So he doesn't have to have that talent.
As Deanna said in Hollow Pursuits, you are very tall.
You are very tall. She says it with a smile on her face too.
Yeah.
You can hear it in her voice, a little lilt in her voice.
Yep.
Anyway.
Oh man.
Yeah, no, they had seen that one.
What was there anything else you guys wanted to touch on about either character?
Well, we hit Ronnie Cox and we hit Gul Madred. What about the guy that Ronnie Cox is going up against?
Oh, Gullivec, right?
Gullivec, yeah. What did you guys think of Gullivec?
He was.
I liked him.
He's recurring.
Yeah,
And
we
he's
wanted a good
recurring,
buddy.
right?
A nice guy.
He was well acted. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
And Gullivec is the guy that also chases Chakotay into the Badlands, I believe.
Oh, really?
Oh wow.
He's a repeat. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Gulmasset and Gullivec are both TNG repeats, and I think Gullivec makes it into the first Voyager episode. I
Wow.
believe he's the one that's chasing
Wow.
Chakotay before the caretaker grabs him.
BP, obviously working for Paramount Studios.
Yeah, no kidding.
I wish.
Jeez.
Where's my money, Paramount?
The Cooters are looking at her like, you know that?
I defer to her memory a lot, man. It'd be like last night we were talking.
Yeah. And even
Oh,
I
man.
kind of blacked out for a minute. I'm like, oh yeah.
What are we talking about? Holy shit. Oh, yeah.
That's what happens when you have a freaking Discord channel full of stoners.
Oh man.
So, is there anybody that has any baddie that they'd like to talk about next weekend?
Yeah, I'm gonna defer to whoever you guys pick. I'm just gonna give you guys my pick and let you pick somebody because I find it impossible to pick anybody. I just can't seem to pick a person.
All right.
Right?
Well, I'm looking at this as my pick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. So
I'm having trouble picking between. I've got three that I'm having trouble picking between. I've got the Vidians, I've got Wayun, and I've got Commander Goddamn Eddington. I fucking hate that bastard.
Why don't you choose one of those and let us know which one you picked
Okay.
this week? Let's do
All
it
right.
that way.
So I'll go next week, and I'll
Yeah,
pick
you go
out
next
of the
week, and then
three.
I'll go the next week.
Okay, that works.
Who's the guy in DS9 who is always going up against Cisco, the Cardacian? What's his name? Gul Dukat?
The Golden Dot.
mm-hmm.
That is a villain.
Yeah,
Yeah. He's a
He's
great.
already-
he's on my list
Yeah.
of potential villains. So
There are so many villains in DS9
yeah,
that,
DS9 is villain rich
like
environment.
High Win.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a YouTube video. You guys get a chance, and this goes for the people in chat too. Search in YouTube for, and this is the quote, "a case for Gul Dukat."
Oh,
It
cool.
talks about why Gul Dukat is not the bad guy that you think he is, and they make a lot of good points.
Huh.
Yeah,
I'll look that up.
yeah. It was really. I was like, I didn't really like DS9, but I'll watch this. Hey, this is good shit. This guy makes a lot of good points. This is very interesting. So, I don't know if it's in Expertise. I don't know what channel it is.
The
Good.
case for Gul Dukat. I'm looking at it. It's under Trexpertise.
Yeah, I thought it might be in Expertise.
Yes, Trexpertise. And there's also other stuff. Steve Shives made one called "Is Gul Dukat Actually a Hero?" 2 years ago.
Yeah, but don't watch that because that's
I forgot how much. I still remember.
you can only
2
watch
years
it if you
ago.
lick your lips every 3 seconds.
I know exactly.
I still remember. I
Uh-oh.
think it was last year's VidCon or VidCon when they mentioned Steve Shives and told everybody to go watch him for Star Trek content, and somebody was like, "No, go watch Blind Press for Star Trek."
Really?
I'm like, oh, thank you, whoever you. I can't remember who it was, but it was really funny and really kind of made me blush. But it was.
Nice.
I forgot Steve
I
Shires
would
did.
say, look, I'll tell you, I think BP is the aficionado level.
Yeah,
I love
I'm
me
with
some
you.
Trek.
Encyclopedia.
Yeah,
I consider myself
Encyclopedia.
quite the Star Trek guy, but I gotta give you props, BP. You know way more than I do.
She's on episode names. I don't know anybody better. That's the truth, and I know a lot of people who know a lot about Star Trek. I don't know anybody who knows Star Trek.
If you name
than she-
an episode, like if anybody BP anybody names an episode, I'll know what episode they're talking about, and I
Yeah.
can quote from it. But
Yeah.
if somebody says, you know that episode where this happened, I can't tell you the name of it.
yeah, and
She can.
She can.
She
Yeah,
can.
that's weird. That's
It's weird.
that's crazy time to me.
I'm like
amazing.
comic book guy level of Star Trek
Yeah,
fandom.
Yes.
She's
In episode 334A, you know, like
she's like she's the way Tim Kronsel is on Lord of the Rings knowledge. She's a lore master.
so. Yeah, I will pick my villain.
okay.
For this coming oh shit. I'll let you guys know. If I'm back. We're planning on going to check our property up at the
Yay.
cottage.
You're allowed to leave.
Yeah, that time of year, man.
So what our premier has said is
Oh, that's right. You're
go
Canadian.
check your.
Don't you have to shutter in place?
Not so. What he's saying is go check your property, but do not
talked
bring
to you
your
personally? He talked to you personally?
No, he put out a
course he does.
thing, a press release, and he said, go by all means, go check on your cottage properties. Do your normal spring maintenance, but do not do what you would usually do and bring up your buddies for May 24th weekend. It's not a party weekend this year. I'm sorry, guys. Just go do what you got to do.
Enemies are okay, but not friends.
Her Majesty's birthday is the May 24th. Yes?
Queen's birthday, yeah. Queen
Yes.
Victoria.
Yes. Oh, little Richard died, y'all.
Yes,
you
he
know
did.
that?
Oh,
Ooh.
and so did Roy of Siegfried and Roy.
Mm.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
COVID.
COVID. Yeah.
Yeah, they said he.
Oh, shit.
Which
Yeah.
means he got killed by the lion.
Yeah, he finally got killed by.
What? Man, I think he'd been. No, isn't he the one that got hurt?
Yeah, he's
And
the one that got
from
hurt
Gene?
by Mojambo.
Yep.
Yeah, man. He got a skull crushed as well.
He got Tiger King. Is what he got. What
He got
happened.
Yes, he did.
But he tested positive, so therefore it's a COVID death.
Yeah,
Of course.
yeah.
So, my friends, we have come to the end of the show. I want to thank you all for watching, and of course, my panel for hanging out with me as always. And if you're awake tonight, I will be joining Prospero on Minions.
Yay.
She's taking over for Reject tonight,
That's
so
a lie.
as will you. Awesome. And of course, Blind and Special tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern. And Irate, who are you interviewing tomorrow?
The Incredible Aspie.
Nice.
That's right.
All right.
He's going to bring his guitar, I think, and I think he's going to regale us with some
nice.
song. Yes.
What
Very
time?
cool.
What
Huh?
time? All right.
Oh, I'm sorry. 5 Eastern, and that's 4 Central, and 2 Pacific. Yes.
And what
Nice.
channel's that on?
It's on the Irate Prostate channel.
I'll get the shill out of you. I'll
Click it.
pry it out of you.
Yeah, hit my fucking StreamYards because I have to have $3,000 worth of dental work.
Ooh.
All right.
Yeah,
Yes, hit up Irate's Streamlabs.
I'm just saying, man.
Support Irate's bar fighting habit.
Apparently, yeah, I have to buy my dentist a new fucking car.
God, yeah, that's
Keep
about
his
it.
dentist and BMW payments.
Yep.
Exactly.
And as always, my friends, links to all of our Twitter accounts are in the description of the stream. So go follow us if you are not following us. And have an amazing Saturday. And also, happy Mother's Day to everybody tomorrow.
Don't
Yeah,
take it. Wouldn't
especially mothers.
Especially the mothers, yes.
Happy birthday, happy day, all you mothers.
Have a good night, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.